today's episode of Hero Syndrome, we're talking about side quests. Hey allies, so we're talking about side quests today, and ever since The Witcher 3 raised the bar, there have been a lot of good ones. So we're gonna go over a couple recent ones that have stuck with me and changed the way I looked at video games. So Witcher 3, of course, raising the bar on side quests. Just every single character you interact with has a story to tell. They have real emotions that get you invested, that make you care, and it makes sense to the story context-wise too, because all those monster hunts, you know, Witcher, Geralt, he's got to get paid, he's got to slay some monsters. Just countless stories in that game. Changed the way I view side quests, and that affected the way I looked at Mafia 3. Now, Mafia 3 is a bad example for side quests because it's all about padding out the gameplay, which is unfortunate because Mafia 3 had such a great story to tell with Lincoln Clay returning home to New Bordeaux from Vietnam. It was just an incredibly well-made world that I loved being in, but there are just too many things on the map. There's too many things! And it just became so repetitive, so grindy. There was no impact anymore. You know, halfway through the game, you're just killing so many people that it just has no value, no meaning, and the game ultimately suffered because of it. You know, for the next couple games, there will be minor spoilers, so those sensitive to spoilers should avert their eyes and ears from pretty much this entire episode. If you don't mind spoilers, continue on the path. But Zelda, if you have not played Zelda, I would say that one is actually a big spoiler, so you have been warned. Which brings us to our next couple games here that have done it right. Sorry to hate on Mafia 3 as well. You know, Mafia, I care about so much. Mafia 1 and Mafia 2, so close to my heart. Mafia 3 just, you know, kind of, it hurts. It hurts. So our next example is a little known game that you've heard me talk about before, Yakuza 0. Now in Yakuza, there's this real estate you keep hearing me talking about, right? This real estate side game where you can buy properties all over town, pump a bunch of cash into them, and watch the returns come in. Now, each location though, each zone of the city usually has about one property that you can't just buy outright. You have to get to know the owner. Now, this is, I'm getting emotional. This is one of my favorite side quests in all of video games, allies. So there is a little sushi shop around the corner from your real estate office, and Genji owns this sushi shop. Now, he inherited it from his father who passed away, and his father was a sushi master, world-renowned sushi chef. So you go in, and he is super nervous. He's nervous to serve you sushi. He's doubting himself. He is filled with self-doubt, trying to walk in his father's footsteps. Now, little by little, you can visit this establishment, order sushi, talk to him, get to know him, and your bond with him goes up. Now, this accomplishes so many things. Because, one, it's humanizing Kazuma further. Kazuma's getting to know this sushi chef. They're bonding. They're having, you know, some sake and sushi, and it's a jolly good time. But it's also making this sushi restaurant alive. This place in the game now is where I go to eat. I have a regular dinner spot in Yakuza 0 because they've made me care so much about its owner. Then it ties in further. He wants fresh ingredients, so you can go out and fish for him. You start bringing him fresh cut fish. He starts getting confident. And he realizes that he shouldn't be trying to live up to his father's reputation. He should be cooking sushi the way he wants to do it. Just beautiful. Poetic. So this next one, this game came out last year, but again, I'm going over recent games, post-Witcher 3 side quest era, we're calling it. Deus Ex, Mankind Divided. Hell of a game, Mankind Divided. Hell of a side quest, because it's time for Jensen to be a cop again, and for you to get your Detective Sarah Linden the killing on as you investigate this murder crime scene. So you're in the back alleys, corpse on the ground, cops everywhere, police tape, sirens, the old Detective Carl Montag over the body. He needs your help. Now this is special because this is a two-part side quest. This is a 2-for-1. Some of my favorites, where you finish this side quest so you get rewarded with another part or another one. So you're in this back alley and the deceased is an augmented human, and in the world of Deus Ex, augs are treated like second-class citizens. So nobody wants this case. Usually their cases go unsolved. Nobody wants to hear them out. Nobody wants to listen to them. And this detective has a retirement coming up. And he is notorious for solving such few cases in his career. He usually works behind a desk. He hasn't been out in the field for a while. And they put him on this case as kind of a last little insult before he retires. Well, he's committed to this thing. He wants to solve this. And this is just one little element to this overarching quest. He's just a little part of it that gives it a little more emotion and humanity. So what's great is the witness is there. She's telling you what she saw. You're examining this body for bruises and weapons. And when it's all said and done, you have 2 suspects. Now, typical video game, you're gonna be like, all right, immersive sim, what have you. It's gonna be one of these guys. Like, one of them murdered, maybe they're both in on it, who knows. So you follow your leads, Jensen style, and they're eager to shut this case down. They're eager to just write it off. Let's get it done. We've had enough, moving on. But you're gonna do it right. So what happens when you exhaust your leads? What do you realize? What does Jensen realize? That neither of them were the killer. You have no suspects. The mission's over. That's it. Complete. What? Just completed the mission. Killer unsolved. Whoa. Okay, awesome. That was a cool quest. What the hell? Like, no resolution. See you later. So time goes by, and you get a call from said witness. She's freaking out. She's saying, the killer's still out there. The killer's coming. I'm freaking out. You go to rescue her. Who's there? Who's there? The detective. Red herring, more like it. You're like, what the hell are you doing here? He's like, oh, it's gotta be him. It's the cop. He's pissed about his whole career. He's the murderer. No. Deus Ex, no. You're even crazier than that. So you start digging. So you seek out this doctor that Darius sends you to because she has this personality chip in her head. And the doctor tells you all these stories about how he used to work for Tai Young Medical Facility, which is bringing back all these emotions that Jensen felt in Human Revolution. That's where he used to work. That's where all the action went down in the beginning of the game, where they raided it, took his girlfriend hostage. All those subtle emotions just from this small little connection on this small little side quest, further adding to the size and scope of not only the game world, but just the emotional size and scope of it all. And he tells you this long story about how they were making personality chips and nobody wanted to donate their personalities, so they gave incentives to penitentiaries to take their criminals and murder personalities. Terrible idea. So she ended up having one in Hairbrain, Daria, and she actually turns out to be the murderer, which you kind of suspect. You know, like, okay, well, if it wasn't the cop, it's got to be the witness. But the twist on that, you know, the fact that she was acting on those urges from this implanted chip in her brain is just a nice, subtle touch. Last up, what do I love? I love player housing. Spoilers for Zelda Breath of the Wild coming up. You've been warned again. So Zelda Breath of the Wild, a masterpiece. Oh my goodness. You get to Hatano Village. Still don't know how to pronounce it correctly. I apologize. You get there very early on in the game. And what I love about player housing, what else I love, I'm freaking out. I just want to talk about this so much right now. I'm sorry. What else do I love other than player housing? Economies. Well, economies and player housing collide in the best side quests Zelda Breath of the Wild has to offer. Hylian Homeowner tasks you with coughing up 3,000 rupees to give these construction workers to build you a home. You know, you can add on to this home, you can buy the home, you can add on to it, you can store weapons there. It's beautiful. Take a look at this house. And what I love about player housing too is it grounds you in this world. Like, this is where I live right now on my adventure. So what happens, Hudson, one of the construction workers, he wants to go build, you know? He's got dreams. He's got dreams to build. So he goes across the giant map that is Breath of the Wild. Once you finish Hylian Homeowner, Hylian, Damiani, where you at? Once you finish that quest, you can go find Hudson. Now when you find him, he needs supplies. He needs wood. He needs wood and he needs people. Why? Because he's building a town. Another thing I love, player housing, towns, and economies. If you've got those three things, 10 out of 10. So little by little, bit by bit, Terrytown starts growing. You're going chopping down trees, giving them to him. He needs people who can move rocks. Well, I hear the Gorons are strong and good at that. I'm gonna go get a Goron. He needs all of the races in this world to come together to build this town. It's the only town that has all the races in the game. The Ritos, the Hylians, the Gorons, and the Zora. He's got them all there, and just watching this town slowly become a full-fledged town is a beautiful sight to behold. But it's not just about the way it builds. It's about what happens when it's built. Well, Hudson, our builder man, falls in love with a Garuda, and they need a priest to marry them. Well, a little while back, I was at the Zora domain, and I met a fellow who said, you know, I love love. I just want to marry people. That is why I am here. That is why I am on this earth. Are we on Earth? Does Zelda take place on Earth, Damiani? It is why I'm here. I just want to marry people. So if you ever come across people who want to get married, you let me know. Well, gameplay-wise, like 50 hours later, I found people who wanted to get married. Went to go grab them. I said, hey, I got news for you. Terrytown. It's like, Terrytown? I've never heard of it. No one had heard of Terrytown because we just built it. We just built it with our own hands and our own wood. And just the end of everyone coming together, every race in that world just coming together and living peacefully in Terrytown is easily the most magical video game moment of 2017. So that's it. We can all thank The Witcher 3 for raising the bar on those side quests. You know, they've been doing side quests forever. They go way back. I'd like to hear your earliest known examples of really strong side quests. Join me Saturday, 11 a.m. for Talking Syndrome. We can talk about side quests in detail. If you like what you saw, we are Easy Allies. We are on twitch.tv/easyallies, youtube.com/easyallies, and mainly Patreon. We are crowd supported. So if you like what you saw, help us out on patreon.com/easyallies. Side quest, the power to make us care about video games even more than we already do. Again, this Saturday, let's talk about some epic ones. See you then.
It's time for the syndrome.
You know, I'm thinking about economies. What do I think of when I think of economy? I think of money. Who do I think of when I think of money? Scrooge McDuck. Disney Afternoon Collection. Give it a go.